Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Aliens and Angels podcast. Robert Kalil is my guest for today, but I'm still waiting for him to show up. So while we're waiting, I'm just going to read a brief introduction for him. So today, I'm very excited to bring back my special guest, Robert Kalil of the Typical Skeptic podcast. Robert was inspired by the greatest of all time, Art Bell, and started his podcast in 2017 to share interesting perspectives on all things paranormal. Today, we're going to talk about Robert's research into the Anunnaki and other paranormal and spiritual topics. All of the links are featured below in the description, and you can check me out, subscribe to my channels, leave me a comment, like my videos, and please do share my content with your friends. You can now join my channel on YouTube and take advantage of my perks. I'm just making sure I got my microphone plugged in. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring him on, Robert Kalil. Robert, welcome to Aliens and Angels. So glad you could make it.
Oh, hey, Karen, good to see you. How's everything going? Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks. I was just figuring it out because I have my 200th episode of my other show, the Quantum Guide Show, coming up in January. And, I've known you now for 5 years because you were one of the first guests I had on, and you were one of the first people who invited me on your show as a guest. And back then, our channels were really tiny.
I know, right? It's crazy. I didn't think it was going that long. Has it been that long? Has it been that long? Really? Like, wow.
Yeah, in the autumn of 2019.
Wow. See, I thought I started in 2020. Because I thought maybe I was doing it before that though. Like, I guess I was.
No.
Yeah.
It might have been 2020. It might have been the beginning of 2020. I'm not sure, but either way, it's been at least 4 full years now. So we've been doing this for a while. Robert, can you just check to make sure your noise cancellation is turned off?
Yeah. How do I check that? Let me see.
On settings.
Okay. Yeah. Let me check that real quick. And
because I thought I heard a bit of an echo.
I can put in headphones. Yeah, I have echo cancellation checked. Yeah, but I can put in headphones. Helps.
No, we might be okay. I don't know. Maybe I just sometimes, I'm new to StreamYard, so I don't always do it right. But I thought I heard a bit of an echo, and I know I have my noise cancellation on, and I have my headphones, so we should be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to be here, So what episode is this of your regular show of the Aliens and Angels?
Oh, I don't know, because I don't do it in episodes. I do it in dates. But I would say I've been doing this now for at least 2 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I did it in 2023, and then in 2024 I started being more regular. Before that, it was a little bit hit and miss.
I think a lot of people try to get into podcasting, and they think there's going to be a lot of money in it, and there's not.
No.
That's what it is. Like, it's like it's like, and then I think some people drop off. So I think for us to have stayed the course this long, that's a testament to our will and our determination to do this and get the information and get the truth out.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you have to be in it because you believe in your message and believe in your content, and you want to share it with other people. Like, for instance, when I got started having what I'm going to call my awakening process and started having contact with spiritual guides and stuff like that, there was not much out there. There was Leak Project with Rex Bear had just started, and Chris Matthew with Forbidden Knowledge News had just started. That was before you started, before I started. But besides that, there was not a lot of content. So as I went through my awakening process, I sort of went, you know what, when I'm able, when I'm well enough, I want to start a podcast, and then I want to have the content that I wish I had had back when I was going through the awakening process. And I know for you, it's because your mentor is Art Bell, and you just got so much out of his programming that you wanted to offer something to the viewers and the listeners as well.
Well, I was kind of like you too. Like I listened to Art Bell back when I was a kid, like in like 2001, because I was always into like UFOs and the paranormal, and I was always wondering about the mysteries of life. And then like my dad died at a young age, which was like, that was like I always tell people that was my first conspiracy. I mean, because my dad was in Vietnam, and they sprayed Agent Orange over there. So like, in 2001, I found out real quick that my dad probably died from cancer that was caused by the spraying of Agent Orange in Vietnam. And then when you look into what Agent Orange was, there's a whole thing behind that. But then it goes even deeper with the whole Vietnam thing. Like the Vietnam thing is like, so some people say there were like mantids and like huge spider creatures in Vietnam. And there was a lot of like covert black ops operations going on there too. I can't prove that, but that's just stuff that people have said when they've come on my show. But anyway, like I was saying, so I listened to Art Bell, and then I was like you. I always say, like, when I have Chris Matthew on my show, I always tell him, I was like, I always say, dude, your show was such an influence to me, because I used to watch Forbidden Knowledge News, and I used to watch Leak Project with Rex, and I was really fond of Gerald Clark. I used to love when Rex would have Gerald Clark on, because Gerald would come on and talk about the Anunnaki and stuff, and then. And then that kind of inspired me to do my own show, and here we are today.
Yeah. And another thing not very many people know is that I had well, everybody pretty much knows I had an angelic encounter and I had ET contact. But what they don't know is I've been working for the last 3.5 years on my book, and I finally got it finished, Robert. So Preston Dennett is going to basically coach me so that I know how to get it um, published. I'm going to publish it on Amazon. So I'm hoping to have it published soon. I'm to the point now where I'm going to send him my good copy, and he's going to go through it and just do a final edit for me and make suggestions. And well, I don't know if he's going to edit it. It's pretty much edited already, but he's going to make some suggestions, and then I'm hoping he's going to write me a review. So I'm really excited that my book is coming out finally.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations. That's amazing, Karen. And like, you deserve it for all the hard work you put in, and not just that, but like, you have these experiences and you want to get them out to show people what's really going on, from your perspective. I feel like there's multiple things going on from multiple perspectives, but it's good to have people who are having the benevolent encounters with these beings that teach people things, and that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I would say that the messages I'm sharing in my book are as important, if not more important, than the actual experience. So, but I'm really excited that I finally got it done. It's been a long process. It's a lot harder to write a book than you think, especially if you're trying to keep it accurate and make it so that it's going to be enjoyable for the readers. But anyway, enough about me. I was wondering what you want to talk about tonight. I was hoping we could get a little bit into your research on the Anunnaki, and then we can also talk about anything you want, Rob.
Yeah, I can go anywhere. It's been a while since I talked about the Anunnaki, but I mean, I love talking about it. It's very interesting. It was like that was my awakening point into this whole thing. That was like, like I told you, like I listened to Art Bell when I was a kid, right? And I was like always into mysteries of life and stuff like that. But then I had a reawakening in 2015. I was on the internet and I was like researching just like ancient history stuff, because I always liked ancient history. I was always fascinated by it, and I think I was looking up a video about Alexander the Great or something, and then on like this, you know how you get recommendations for videos. Well, like a video came up as a recommendation, and it was the Battle of the Eagle and the Serpent by Matthew LaCroix, where and I started watching it, and I was amazed. I was like, what is this? And for people that don't know, the eagle was Enki, and supposedly in the serpent, wait, no, the serpent was Enki and the eagle was Enlil, and in this video, Matthew goes into detail about how like these two brothers from the Anunnaki like warred over humanity over time. And then it went on through their siblings, and and I feel like a lot of people, some people just say, well, that was all Zecharia Sitchin. I'm like, well, it's not just Zecharia Sitchin. It's like, it goes way deeper than that. There were Assyriologists and researchers who transcribed the cuneiform tablets, and people don't know cuneiform tablets. The Sumerians baked tablets in clay, and they would inscribe everything on it. And they put everything down. They put their legal systems. They put marriages, weddings, they documented everything, and they would bake it onto these clay tablets. And now we call them cuneiform tablets. That was how the Sumerians documented their society. And in these tablets, besides all their legal jargon and everything else they recorded, there were stories about these beings that came, and they called them the Anunnaki. And I don't really have a fixed purpose on where they came from. I don't know if they came from outer space, or if they're from inner Earth, or if they're interdimensional. I'm kind of open to that, because I know a lot of people have a lot of different theories, but a lot of stuff points to that they could be extraterrestrial, and I just find the whole thing fascinating. I really do. I think it's really fascinating.
It really is. And you can still see the serpent and the eagle in many, many different flags, different political systems, from the United States to you name it. We see the symbology that was introduced then still all over our earth. And it makes me wonder if they're not still in control.
I think so. I think so. They would be like behind the scenes. A lot of people say that there's like reptilians in control too and stuff like that. But I mean, it seems like they might be, I don't know. A lot of people have like encounters with what they call our Nordic aliens, and I've always wondered if maybe those Nordic aliens were like an offshoot of the Anunnaki or something like that. And then I've wondered if I don't know what other people say, but I've always wondered like what the Greys were too. Like if the Greys were like the androids for the Anunnaki or something like that, or if they were, it's all really interesting. And there's so many different theories, right? So one thing I try to do is I try to stay open-minded to everything. Like I try not to have one fixed theory, because there's so much information, so I try to be open to it all, but I don't really, I guess,
I agree. I agree. Like we have a lot of guests on our shows. You have a lot more shows than I have, but and everyone has their own perspective, and they're all speaking from their own experience. And I think that a lot of this information we filter through our own understanding and in our own frame of reference. And I think it's good not to fight over who's right and who's wrong, but accept that everybody's coming from a good place. Everybody wants to share what they know. And I don't think we have to settle on concrete truths with a capital T. I mean, my contact experiences are weird as weird can be. I don't expect anybody to believe me, because there's not that many people having the same similar experiences as myself. I would say the closest would be Elsa Dillon. She has all kinds of interdimensional and transdimensional experiences. I classify my experiences also as transdimensional. I've never had a spaceship come and pick me up and beam me up and have Greys take me off. I've never had that experience, but that doesn't mean that it isn't happening for other people. And there's a lot of people that I've gotten to know. I've gotten to know Elsa Dillon, Dolly Saffron, Preston Dennett, Jeff Selver, Jimmy Blanchett. There are so many people that have had different kinds of contact experiences, and they're not weird people. They're not stupid. They're intelligent. They're honest. They're lovely people. Oh, and then there's also Philip and Ronald Kinsella, like all these people that I've met that have all had experiences. So there's something, there's definitely something, Robert. I may not be able to put my finger on it or say absolutely what it is, but there's definitely something. And then that also encouraged me to keep going with the second show, which is more geared towards aliens and angels and those kind of paranormal experiences, because I believe we're going to be exposed to a lot more contact. I don't think we're going to wait for government disclosure. I think we're going to have contact direct as we're ready to receive it. And so I wanted my show to be established so that people would have a place to come. Well, besides your show and, and Rex's show and probably Chris's show and some other shows. But I'm just saying, I wanted to offer platform for people who are eager to find out more.
Yeah, yeah, because like that's one thing I tell people, like, when going back to like podcasts and stuff, like it's like, like some people get mad when another guest goes on another show, and I always tell people, I'm like, like those guests have to do multiple shows because a lot of guests are trying to sell books, and when
Yeah.
someone wants to sell books, they have to do multiple podcasts. So it's like a podcast circuit. It's like there can't just be one podcast. You know what I mean? I mean, that would be like really, boring, So I think it's great that all these different people have shows and stuff. And I try to help as many people as I can, I really do, because
Yeah.
I know how hard it was when I was starting, and and like you said, people want guidance as well, and I think that's what we're kind of doing,
Mhm.
I, yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, I gotta say, since 2020, a lot of people have woken up and been completely shocked by the so-called truth of the medical industry, and then the governments behind that. And now, over the last year, we're really seeing how we can't trust mainstream media. And so people are going, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? And, obviously podcasts, we are the new media. We are the truth bearers, the light bringers as much as possible, so that people can come and I don't expect people to just stick to my show. I want them to go and see your show and see Chris's show and see other shows. They get a different take or little bit different perspective from each one. They get to see all kinds of guests. Your show has just got how many shows a week do you do, Rob? You do
I
what?
mean, just to give an idea, I have three after I do this one. I have one at 4, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. Then I did three yesterday. Then I did four the day before that. Then I did three. So I've done probably 12 to 15 shows just this week. Because I do it full time. You know what I mean? And like the way
Yeah.
I look at it is like, for me, full time is like I just like to be busy. I know it's probably a
Mhm.
little bit insane how many shows I do, and it's probably a lot. But like for me, it kind of helps me because like I just like to stay busy, and I like to be working, and then. But I tell people some days I wake up and like I'll start working at like 11 o'clock, and I'm not done until like 2 a.m. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
what's cool about it is I'm my own boss, so I can do whatever I want. If I want to go have a smoke, or if I want to, do this or that, like that's what's great about it. I can take a break, but it's just a lot of work. And then there's sometimes where I get overbogged and I'll get like burnout, and I won't answer emails or DMs for like a couple of days, and then I feel bad because it's not like I'm like trying to like be mean to anybody. It's just like I
Yeah.
probably take on too much work a little bit, but I know I've done like over 1,600 shows now at this point. It's like 16.
Unbelievable. Here I am talking about coming up to my 200th episode, and you've done 1,600. But you know what? You're doing what you love, and you're doing what you want to do. And like you said, you like to keep busy, but it's also of real value to all the viewers and listeners. And you never know whose life you're going to touch, and you bring a validity to people's paranormal experiences so they can, if they're in the secret space program, they can find other people and connect with them that are also involved. There are people that are psychics. I mean, there's just no end to the paranormal, the paranormal realms. There's just no end to it. Um, and Mandela Mile. Hi, Mandela. Nice to see you. And
Yeah,
also
I know.
Pietro.
Lately I've been getting like a little bit out on the fringe, with some of the stuff I've been covering, and like I've been covering a lot of like what you said, like secret space program experiencers, people who feel like they've been abducted by the military or my labs, military abductions, and then also there's targeting that comes along with that. So people who feel like they're exposed to these like black ops programs, they feel like sometimes that they're a targeted individual, or
Yeah.
there's just people who are targeted individuals who don't feel like they've been involved in these programs. And like what I find fascinating about that is like if it's really going on, then that's an enormous problem, because
It
what is
is.
what gives the government the right to, or whoever this is, whether it's the government or a breakaway civilization or some, deep dark aspect of the military that people that we'll never meet, like what gives them the right to invade someone's home in the middle of the night and take them out of their home and do experiments on them, or expose them to secret space programs and cloning and all that stuff, and or someone who's just claims to be a targeted individual where the government might be, exposing them to like frequency weapons, or, and I say government, it could like I said, it could be a breakaway civilization, or but one thing I do think is I feel like some of these people are having real experiences, and I don't discount them because, it's like a lot more people are coming out with this stuff. So it
Yeah.
makes me think there's something to it.
Well, I think there is too. And the research I've done, there is a hidden agenda. And there is what I call the construct, which is a false reality, which includes the political systems, the religious systems, the socioeconomic systems, the industrial military complex, and it's huge, and it's behind the scenes, and they've had relative control over humanity for a long time. And then what's happened, especially in the last, well, I would say since Roswell, what's happened is technology has taken a huge leap, and these, I don't know, people or beings or combination thereof are using us for experimentation. And you're right, it might not be any particular government, but there's a lot of money funneled into NASA. We don't see where that money goes. There's a lot of black operations that we don't know anything about. I mean, the presidents don't even know anything about it. Hopefully that's going to change. And they've been experimenting on humans for a long time. So just take a look. Let's circle back to your dad in Vietnam and the Agent Orange. What right did they have to do that to other human beings? And we all know that that war was nothing to do with what we were told it was about. And so I believe that people are being targeted, absolutely. And they are, like, I think a lot of the negative extraterrestrial experiences are actually human initiated and pulled off by humans that are, again, they just can't seem to stop um, doing cruel experiments on humans. And it isn't just humans, Rob. They're doing like it just recently came out that Anthony Fauci is funding millions of dollars into all these super cruel animal experiments that have no purpose. What would be the reason why they would be doing all this? Really, I think it serves as entertainment for the hidden class of people that have all the power and all the money and all the everything. And I don't know. It's sick, and it's got to change. That's all I know. It's got to change.
Yeah, but I feel like that's why like it's important like to have shows like yours and mine, because like we can like wake people up to these things, because a lot of people are new, like a lot newer than we, so I had my awakening in 2015. Even though I had like been into the paranormal and stuff a long time, I just like I wasn't aware to these bigger truths. And when I
Hmm.
became aware of these bigger truths, it really changes your life, and you can't really go back to living a normal life. Once you know
Hmm.
what's going on in the world, it's hard to like, live a normal life again. And I have friends that I grew up with that they don't believe any of the stuff that I believe, and I'm like, man, you got to really open your eyes. Like, there's a lot of horrible stuff going on in the world, and we have to be beacons of change. We have to try to change the world so it's a better place. So because I feel like whatever created us, like God's source, or whatever you want to call that being, or that energy, if it's an energy, I felt like it put us on this planet to be creator beings and and caretakers for the earth. And then so like it's like our job to like make this place a better place. And the people that are in control are definitely not doing that. They're making it. It's like this place is like it's like a prison planet. It's like an insane asylum. And like I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like it's if I had to explain it, it's what I feel like sometimes. I feel like this place is one big like prison planet, insane asylum, And then
It is.
worse is the full moon comes and people start acting complete. It's been nuts over the past few weeks because we've had a couple super full moons and people were just acting bizarre, their behaviors on full display. So sometimes when the full moon comes, I just want to shut my door and like stay inside because like I don't know what it is, but for some reason people tend to act like really off. I don't know. Do you get that too with people?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I have to laugh. Mandela Miles says, "My aliens were nice. I didn't get probed or anything." Yeah, my experiences with them were very positive too. But I wanted to get back to this whole thing of awakening. And this is just my opinion, Robert. You don't have to agree with me. But I feel like something happens and it shocks us and we become awakened. And I find that the awakening process actually hit me in layers as I was able to cope with it because it is very uncomfortable. It's very upsetting. It's disturbing to see what's going on. And no wonder so many people don't want to wake up because they're content. It's kind of like the Matrix. They're happy to be in the Matrix and they just care about having a beer on Saturday night in the football game or the latest fashion or hairdo or whatever. And because it's uncomfortable, it's painful. You have to be very brave to go through the awakening process. But I think that has to happen before we're ready for what I call the ascension process. And the way I see the ascension process is where we start to have paranormal experiences. We start to realize who we are, why we're here, our connection with source or universal consciousness. And then we start to slide into our higher purpose. But we can't do that unless we first do that horrible, uncomfortable awakening process. What's your thoughts, Rob?
I mean, yeah, it is. It is uncomfortable, but I don't know. I'm not sure if we have it seems like there's an ascension process. Yeah, like I don't know who's in charge of that though, or when it's going to happen, or like, I'm not like filled in on the whole details of that. But I mean, one thing I can say is it seems like it's an expansion of consciousness. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what I would call it. Is like because when people start to wake up to bigger truths, it expands their mind and it expands their way of thinking. And usually people become a little bit more benevolent, because they realize some of the things they've been doing in their life and the way they've been acting. So yeah. And then I would also say that the veil's thinning too. It seems like people
Mm-hmm.
are having more paranormal experiences of all kinds. People are seeing UFOs and interdimensional beings. Like you have transdimensional beings. Cryptids is a big thing that's happening now
Yeah.
too. A lot of people are seeing all different kinds of cryptids. Shadow people. It seems like and it seems like it's happening more and more now. There's like an uptick of it. So yeah, I
Yes,
don't know. I don't know.
I agree. I agree. No, when I said ascension, I don't see ascension as being the same thing as the rapture. A lot of people think ascension means the rapture. I don't mean it that way. I mean us being open to universal consciousness and the gifts that I think are our God-given gifts to have interdimensional and transdimensional experiences. I just want to take a minute to welcome Angel Wings. She just became a YouTube member on my channel. And she also sent her love and her greetings to you, Rob. So I know you're friends with Angel Wings.
Yeah,
Just
it's
want to give her
Jamie.
a shout
Jamie,
out.
she's a good friend. I like Jamie a lot. She's really active in my chats on my channel, and she's a listen. That's one person you definitely want on your team because I mean she's an amazing person. She always brings the highest vibe with her. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
she's always trying to change someone for the better. Like, and a lot of people don't know about Jamie. She has contact with real dragons, and she has that like dragon energy. She honestly was what I feel like she was one of the first people that started bringing dragons and the reality of dragons into the collective. Like now, these people are starting to talk about dragons and and the dragon energy and this and that. Well, Jamie was talking about that 3 years ago, and she has
Yeah.
pictures. And I've had people who say they were skeptical of Jamie's dragons, and then they saw the pictures. Now they're these pictures they're not like full blown dragons, but they're like in the shadows and stuff, and you can tell something's there. So she's definitely in contact with something, you know. And the fact that she
Hmm.
stays so high vibe, like, makes me think that she's having a very benevolent contact, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So, yeah. So I'm really happy that Jamie pops into my show too, and thank you, Jamie, for becoming a member. That's awesome. And yeah, so yeah, so there again shows you the diversity in the paranormal. It's not just aliens, it's not just angels, it's not just psychic ability or intuitive knowing. Like Jamie, she has contact with dragons. And a lot of people think dragons, oh, isn't that from Old English or Chinese mythology? Well, no, the concepts came from someplace. And and you know, there's all kinds of beings that are interdimensional. I also believe that the fairies and the gnomes and those kind of creatures are also pop in and out of our reality. There's even some evidence, perhaps, that Bigfoot and other cryptids are able to sort of disappear and pop in and out. But then again, there's enough evidence and enough accounts of people talking about how there's portals all over this planet. So, like I said, there's so much that you got to step out of the mainstream reality to see all this stuff, but it's really super fascinating.
Another funny one, but I think is the little people too. I love getting into the little people phenomena, and I mean, I could just give you a couple examples of what I know. So obviously, everybody knows about leprechauns in Ireland, right? That's one that we've all
Hmm.
known about forever. But then there's in North Carolina, there's something called Cherokee Little People, and
Hmm.
Mary Joyce has written a book on this. I've had her on my show a couple times. I found her on Coast to Coast. She was on Coast to Coast, and then I invited her on my show. And she's written books on Bigfoot, and she wrote one on Cherokee Little People, and then she's written also one called Spy in the Sky, where she went all over like Google Earth and Google yeah, on Google Earth, and she like picked up. I guess on Google Earth, you're also able to see the moon, and you're able to see Mars. So what she did was interesting. Is she found like anomalies on Mars and on the moon, and
Yes.
she documented them in her book Spy in the Sky. But then but like, getting back to what I said, the one that what really interested me was the Cherokee Little People, which are like supposedly they look like Cherokee people, but they're like 3 foot tall, and they found these caves in North Carolina. They're like for the size of these little people, and they're burrowed through like they almost like they live underground. And then
Uh-huh.
there's also lore in up in the New England area, which is the Bridgewater Triangle, which is like a really active paranormal place. They have like everything there from like cryptids to UFOs to it's like a paranormal hotspot. Like all these places, like Skinwalker Ranch and the Alaska Triangle, and um, uh, uh, what's the one I'm thinking of? The Meadow that Trey Hudson talks about. But anyway, so up in the Bridgewater Triangle, they have the lore of the Puckwudgie, and the Puckwudgie is supposedly a little being. It's like 3 foot tall, and it interacts with humans, and it comes in and out of this realm. I'm sure maybe a lot of your people in your audience might know who the Puckwudgies are, and I just find that fascinating that these little people are amongst us. I mean, I wonder where all these beings come from, and I would love to go to this world. Like I could go interdimensional and meet all these beings like fairies and elves and gnomes and little people and dragons. And I mean, I would like that would be like a field day for me. But like I don't have I can't and for whatever reason, I can't connect to anything like that. I've done DMT where I've connected to something, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah, those are the machine elves, they say. I,
Yeah.
I I I believe that all the fairy folk and the gnomes and the wee people and all of that, I believe they're interdimensional. And I've been told, I don't know if this is true, but I've been told that they actually help to repair the time-space continuum. They're
Wow.
actually got a purpose, and they actually repair. You would think, they don't look like they would be technical, but apparently they are highly technical, and they repair the time-space continuum so that we can continue in the simulation that we call our reality, which is another whole topic. Oh my God, we can go everywhere.
Well, yeah, I was gonna tell you. So I've had a couple like interesting experiences of a plant medicine, and I don't condone anybody using any kind of hallucinogens, but I mean, I did it for my spiritual awakening, and I wanted to see if I could like access other dimensions and stuff like that. So I have a couple really interesting stories. One night I took a couple shrooms, and I was sitting here and nothing was really happening, and then I laid down and it felt like, like those like escalators or conveyor belts. It felt like a conveyor belt full of energy started going up my back, and then I had my eyes closed because I decided to lay down, and like I saw the serpents going up, like the way they talk about how the Kundalini rises, and then
That's
I
what
saw
I was thinking when you were saying that. Yeah.
yeah, it was amazing. And then like the energy came out and it like went through my chest and it went into my pineal gland and they kind of exploded out of my, like not in a violent way, but like it was just like energy. And then I sat there and I said, was that real? And I said, I'm not sure if that was real or not, but I mean, I said it was really interesting. And then the only other really interesting experience I've had off of plant medicine was I took DMT one time and I didn't see a lot. I saw like a couple things I thought I interacted with, but nothing I can really document. But then what was interesting was when the plant medicine was wearing off, when the DMT was wearing off, I looked at my desk and everything looked holographic. Like everything, it
Yes.
was almost like I was seeing like the blueprint of the Matrix, if you want to call it that. It was, and that's
I,
what made me start thinking like, and then back in the day, like on Rex's shows, like Gerald Clark used to talk about this book called The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot, which I still haven't read, but I heard it's amazing. But it was stuff like that. And obviously, I've had Richard Allen Miller on my show too. He's amazing. He talks a lot about the holographic universe. So, and a lot of people do. I think there's something to that. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally do, because it's the only thing that really explains how I'm able to have so many trans-dimensional reality experiences, and they're absolutely real. At first, I thought I was dreaming, and then I thought I was crazy. It took me a while to accept that this was a real thing. I just want to mention Stanton Mick says, I think shrooms are great for accessing the bleeding of the realms, a good nature walk, different vibration, all kinds of beings come out. Those substances are there to help train us to observe later. I
That's
think he might be.
Dan Stanton Mick. He's a good friend of mine too. He's in my Discord group, but he's also lately he's had a really big role on Arkeem Raj show. Like we're
Yeah.
kind of like all friends, like him and my friend Nathan Sizek and Arkeem. They've been doing a show lately. It's on the Disclosure Now channel, and Dan's a very intelligent guy. I mean, well, you want to talk about someone who's just like brilliant. Like Dan's like on another level. He does TQH healing, which is like a
Hmm.
different modality of healing, and then he also researches the Pierre Sabak stuff, like the etymology and symbology stuff of like it
Yes.
goes into like
Yes.
ufology, and it's very interesting. Yeah, you should have Dan on your show. Honestly, you would love him as a guest, and
You know
I can.
what? Uh, After the show, I'm going to get you to send me his contact, and I'm going to invite him to the show. I'm always looking for new people. I just want to mention, I don't know if you could see this, but Woo Riders DG says, "Oh my goodness, it's Rob Kalil. He is a superstar." So I just thought I wanted
That's
to point
Derek.
that
That's
out
Derek
to you.
Galloway. I'm good friends with him too.
Oh, are
We
you?
talk. Yeah, he's in my Discord group, and then he also he's a really good friend. He's friends with he's friends with Dan and Jamie and me, and like yeah,
Oh,
he's
awesome.
an awesome guy. Yeah, Derek's
I,
also Derek and Dan are both moderators on my channel too. So yeah,
wonderful.
and I think Jamie is
Wonderful.
too. Yeah,
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Well, some weeks I don't get any comments at all, and then other weeks are quite busy. But on the busy ones, I kind of do need moderators because it's not always easy for me to pay attention to absolutely everything everyone says and pay attention to my guest and do all the other stuff. Rob, I'm wondering if you mind if we just take a very short break for a 1 minute promotion, and then we'll come right back and pick up where we left off.
sure.
Okay, this will only be a minute. Hi guys, break time for a short message. Are you looking for the perfect, unique seasonal gift? Check out Zendome's Orgonite. They are my unique brand of orgone generators, and they are affordable, ethically sourced, handmade, and double charged for maximum effect. They are only available through my website, KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. These beautiful devices are simple compounds which balance ambient energy by converting negative energy and EMF into positive healing energy with many easily confirmed health benefits. They help diminish the harmful effects of negative energies and EMF by attracting and converting them, retuning them into new and more healthful sound and light wave patterns. They also produce orgone energy, which is also known as chi, prana, zero point, and life force. And you can use these devices for focusing the mind, healing, meditation, and for spiritual growth. Zendome's Orgonite are my unique brand of orgone generators, and they are only available through my website. Don't be fooled by imitations. Check out my website to see my latest selection at KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. That's KarenHolton HealthCoach.com. Check them out today. Now, let's get back to the show. I got a question here for you. Woo Riders DG says, question, Rob, what do you want personally to see come from the phenomenon in the next 12 months? Good question. Can't hear you, Rob. Are you on mute? There
I'm
we
good.
are.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what I was saying is that's a tough question, but I talk about this a lot. What I'd like to see is like full disclosure, and what I think full disclosure means is like, they've had these UAP hearings lately, right? And like we're not getting anything from them. And they mostly talk about nuts and bolts stuff. I mean, I'm going to have Stephen Bassett on my show tonight. He's going to talk about it a little bit, so I'm excited to see what he has to say. But like you and I interviewed like the contactees. I do have people who say they've been abducted, but I also have people who say they have benevolent contact. I'd like to see that brought forward, and then so people see all different sides of the phenomena to like wake the normal people up that this is actually a real thing, and all different kinds of contact, like the transdimensional contact, like you have the interdimensional contact, extraterrestrial, inner Earth, and then also I'd like to see some disclosure as far as like what's going on with these programs that I talked about, like these when people are being targeted and taken by the military, and usually they're taken by the military because they have some kind of alien contact. Some of my labs aren't though. I mean, but most of my military abductees have alien contact. So I'd like to see all that, and I feel like that would be full disclosure. I'm not sure if the public's ready for that, but I think that's what we need.
I think we're ready. I think we're ready. And, what I'm going to do with this show is for the final episode of 2024, I'm going to have a panel of experiencers on. And then next year, what I'm going to do is have a preparing for contact convention. So I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but something along the line of Prepare for Contact Con. And then what I'm going to do is have guests who are experiencers on the show, talk to them about their experiences, And then I'm also going to have some panels where we're going to be able to take questions from the viewers, from those that are in the live chat, answer their questions from our different perspectives, and also do some roundtable shows. So basically, it will be like a convention, but it'll be divided up week to week, and it might take me 2 months to get through everybody and to have different combinations of guests that can share their experiences. And it's kind of nice when you have different, what I love about it is we're all grown-ups and we never fight over our experiences. We never think that ours is right and the other person's is wrong. No, there's room for everybody and for everybody's to share what they have experienced. And I think that is the best kind of disclosure there is. Of course, it would be nice to find out what David Grush knows and some of this other stuff. And I also want to throw out, and I would like your opinion because I'm actually Canadian and you're American, Rob. What do you think could happen with the new government in the United States that seems to want to rip the lid off everything and expose JFK and disclosure and where all the money's going and all that other stuff? So what's your opinion about all that?
I'm actually kind of excited about it. Like I'll call him Mr. T because if you say that name, it can trigger, and I don't want to mess up your show.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
thanks,
so
thanks.
yeah, so I'll just tell you. So I'm very anti-political, like you know what I mean? Like I don't like politics at all. I hate it. I feel like it's
Yeah.
divisive, and it's like it's very a part of the system, and I'm very anti-establishment. I feel like we should be free and sovereign, and we should elect our own leaders, and like we should have choices, right? But like a lot of people kind of got to me, and they said, they started telling me about Mr. T, and then my friend kind of drugged me to a rally about Mr. T. And when I went to this rally, like I noticed some things. I noticed that all the people there were just like you and me, Karen. They just wanted freedom and they wanted a better
Hmm.
life. You know what I mean? They wanted like the old America that like we remembered growing up in. That's kind of and some of the policies that I can't really talk about on this platform that
Mm-hmm.
he's kind of going after. That's what people want. They want a better life. I'm not saying he's going to do that for sure. I can't say that because I don't know him. And I don't have a very good trust in politicians. All I can do is hope. Because I feel like one big thing that came from it is like, well, okay, whether you like Mr. T, you don't like Mr. T, it seemed like a lot of people did, and it seemed like that freedom came through it, and it showed that we still have a voice and that our voice can be counted. Is where it's not total corruption and total control over the way
Hmm.
they appoint people like in some countries. But I mean, as far as like my personal opinion, I have hopes for it. I really do. I hope he does,
Hmm.
and I like the fact that he appointed RFK because I'd love to see fluoride taken out of the water, and I'd love to see the air cleaned up, and I'd love to see the poison taken out of the food, and and it seems like RFK
Hmm.
is going for all that. So when RFK joined up with Mr. T, I kind of got excited. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, actually, me too, because things have gone to hell in a handbasket here in Canada. Our politicians are absolutely corrupt. And all they do is take our money and our tax money and funnel it into shady deals with their friends. And they really don't care about us. And even though I'm Canadian and not American, watching what's been going on in the United States, I felt that there was a huge disconnect between the politicians and the common people. There was like miles and miles and miles between which I didn't think there would be any reuniting. But now, what I see, and from what I understand, and again, like I said, I'm not American, but this is just my opinion anyway, and my take on it is there's a reconnection with the common people so that their health is being cared about, their money is being cared about. All aspects of their life is now being taken into consideration where it wasn't before. And I'm excited, but I'm also scared because what's happened in the past to people like Gandhi and Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy, and you know what I mean? I'm not going to
yeah,
get into. I don't want my channel canceled, but I'm just saying, I hope they're all taking precautions, big time precautions, because um, there are forces that who would want to put an end to this, absolutely, and push it back to the way it was. And then
Karen,
I
I have
think,
an interesting story about that. So that assassination attempt, the one that happened where they let somehow Secret Service let the guy up on the roof and nobody noticed he was
yeah,
there. I'm like, how does
yeah,
that happen? But that happened in a town that's like honestly like 30 minutes from like where I live. It's called Butler,
wow,
Pennsylvania,
yeah, I
and
didn't know.
what was interesting was I wasn't even in Pittsburgh at the time. Like I don't know if you know this. I went to my first big conference this summer. I don't know if I told you about this. I went to the Full Disclosure Now conference. It was thrown by Brian Singh, and it was a lot of like experiencers. There was a lot of it was like secret space program people and Montauk people, like people who said they've been in Montauk and like also, but there also were like contactees there, like Rian Darun was there. He brings like a real positive vibe. I've had him on my show too. It was just like a big mix, and there was like a lot of psychics and healers. Like my friend Matthew Mornian was there. Laura Eisenhower was there. I mean, there was a lot of people there, but and I crowdfunded the whole trip, which was amazing. My fans like really, got my back, and my fans like got me there, and so I owe everything to my
Wonderful.
fans. And I had a blast when I was there. Like all the people there were just like amazing. It was like meeting soul family. But like the day I left for Florida, I was going down to Florida. That happened, that assassination attempt. It was interesting, Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I was supposed to be it there. That's if I wouldn't have went to Florida, I was going to go to that, but I didn't. I'm glad I didn't go because But when I went to the one rally, listen to this. So this is interesting, Karen. So I went to the one rally, and I was filming it with my phone and I was live streaming it to YouTube, and then I started feeling like really sick. I started feeling like horrible, And then when I left the rally, I came home and I was like, "There's something wrong with me." And I got with my friend. My friend Priscilla messaged me out of nowhere. She's like a healer, and she said, "Where were you?" And I said, I went to this political rally," and I was like. She was like, "Why would you go to a political rally? You're not political." I was like, I know. And she says, and I told her, I said, I think I got hit with a frequency weapon. So I don't think it was
Hmm.
anybody benevolent. I think what there were, I think there were negative agents in the crowd, like beaming people with frequency weapons. Like, so there's a
Yeah.
lot more spiritual warfare going on with these things than people realize.
Oh, it's all connected. I believe it's all connected, Robert, all of it. And I think that we are at a time now where we have a situation of good versus evil, and people are coming out and they're showing their very best side or their very worst side. It's kind of going from one extreme to the other. I got this little light shining in from my curtain. I got my curtain closed. It doesn't matter how I move, they're still getting to me, which is kind of interesting in itself. So, um, but that's wonderful that you went to that conference. So one of my hopes is once my book takes off, um, is that'll hopefully I'll get invited to some conferences and or be able to afford to go to some conferences because I too want to mingle with my spiritual family. I want to be around other people that because where I live, trust me, I live in Alberta and central Alberta in Canada. You cannot talk to people about this stuff, which is another reason why I do my shows, because then I get to meet like minded people and express myself and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe next year I'll see you at one of the conferences. I'm all excited.
Yeah, one thing that it was interesting though that you mentioned was I so like yeah, I think that's so amazing that I've known you since 2020, and I just want to show people. So like so if you guys, I mean, we saw the commercial for it, but guys, this is Karen gave me this and she sent it to me, and it's pretty amazing. And I have the other one here. I just had it on my desk. I moved it because I was doing something. Where'd it go? But I have oh man, I don't know what I did with it. But anyway, so Karen sent me these orgone generators, and it's amazing that she makes them. And me and Karen have known each other since 2020. And I was going to say, Karen, it's funny because in 2020, like I go back to some of my shows because what I've been doing lately is I've been posting like I call them back in time shows because I'm really trying to promote my audio podcast because I found out
Yes.
that the monetization for audio is much better than video, or it's at least very relatively comparable. And I think there's something there. I think people can make more money off audio than they can off
Yeah.
video. It's good to have
Yeah.
your stuff backed up on audio because you're also it makes you more available. Like you want to be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts because a lot of people sometimes go there for their music and then your podcast might show up and they might decide to listen to an episode. So I just think it's good to be on those. But anyway, so what I've been doing is I've been publishing these back, I call them back in time episodes where I'll go back to 2021 or 2020 and I post them directly on my audio feed. And I listen to them myself sometimes. And I was really green. Like I didn't know about hardly anything back then. And I admit it, like, so my awakening journey has come very far. Like I'm a complete different person than I was 4 years ago. Like I
Yeah.
don't think
Me
I knew
too.
much at all, like, and now I know a lot more. So it's like, it's just interesting to see how things, are, I don't know. It's, and also I want
Absolutely.
you to share your orgone generators because these are
Thank
amazing. I've
you.
had this and I keep it right by I keep it right by my modem, and thank you, Karen. That was really nice of you to
Oh,
do.
you're welcome. I actually sent a few to Angel Wings, Jamie as well. I send them. I sent some to Chris Matthew. I sent some to Ryder Lee from Raised by Giants, and so I've sent them to quite a few of my friends. But I still have a few left. I'd like to sell them soon. That would be great. But at the same time, they'll go when they need to go. It seems like there's a whole spiritual component that when people are ready and they get the urge to buy one, then the time is right for them to get it. Oh, Angel Wings, bless your heart. Jamie says,
I,
yes, they are amazing. So,
Also, I just wanted to tell you real quick there, Karen. This is a good idea too. So Isaac's in the chat. He's a good friend of mine too. His name's Isaac, but he goes by Isaac online, and he's very metaphysical. He's very very intelligent as well. But he mentioned in the chat. He said, "I need a Substack," and I would recommend that for
mhm,
you too, Karen, because Substack's becoming very lucrative. And what you can do with Substack is you can publish articles, you can write your own like short stories, articles, you can post videos, you can post pictures. It's like Patreon, but better. And a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people who are authors and stuff, we want to get their
mhm,
content out there or they'll have like a YouTube and then they'll have a Substack. Or some people won't even have a YouTube and they're just deciding to go Substack. Like I've been thinking about
yeah.
doing a Substack for a while, but I just don't know if I would have I mean, I'm sure like what I could do is something like where I could like do a podcast and then I could write up an article about the podcast, like for further investigation and put that on the Substack. Because someone told me I
Yeah.
think Substack wants you to have like exclusive content, but I think that would be great
Oh,
for people like me and you, like a Substack. Like
yeah. Well, as time permits, like I said, I've been feverishly working on getting my book finished. And now I've got another book I want to start that is kind of a workbook and presents all that information that I think I've told you on your show, the Quantum Health Transformation, which is a free online program that I share with everybody that helps them to get ready for contact and for awakening and get through it all. And so that's kept me really busy. Then 2 shows a week, but everything I produce on YouTube and Rumble and Odyssey also goes to X, also goes to Telegram, and it goes out on the Forbidden Knowledge Network, which I'm also a part of. So I'm also on all the audio platforms too. So that's quite a lot to keep me busy. Plus, I try to get out for walks and take care of my health and occasionally get the dishes done. So, oh, here, let me see what.
yeah, I
No,
hear you.
seriously. And look after my cats, and I have to keep them out of the room when I'm recording because um, they are just terrible. They'll be jumping all over my computer and jumping all over me, and then they need some time and attention because they're my furry babies.
They
Anyway,
probably get
Angel,
activated by the energy. Like if you have psychic people on your show, that psychic
yeah,
energy creates a ripple effect, and the cats probably get anxious. Like in a good
I
way.
don't
It's
know. They
probably
get
something like
they
that. I
get
don't know.
they get just wild. They're not like that any other time. I just want to mention Angel Wings says, I carry with me the balancing wand all the time, great protection as well as it helps me ground a different way as well. Thank you, Angel Wings. Yeah, I sent her the balancing wand. So I don't just have pyramids. I have energy protection discs. I've got wands. I've got pendants. I've got butterflies. I recommend people take them in the bath with them to run a salty bath and take them in. And it helps to restructure the water and is very grounding. So they can be used for all kinds of things. Anyway, if you guys are interested, check them out on my website and see what I have left. And thank you all for your kind words. I really appreciate it. So as far as Substack goes, there's two things I'd like to do in the new year. One is look into Substack, but also I'd like to look into Patreon. I haven't got a Patreon yet, so that's something else upcoming. But there's only so many hours in the day, and I got to tell you, Rob, sometimes I spend way too much time on screen time. And it's just like
Yeah.
my brain goes, I can't do this anymore. And I have to get out for a walk or I have to take a day off too. So, and I'm
That's
getting
what I
old, you know.
I'm 44. I'm not a spring chicken. I mean, you know, I don't know. I feel like time's going so fast. I don't like it, you know, like, you know, that's why I'm trying to get all my stuff in now because, you know, I don't know, like, you never know what could happen. My dad died at 51. So I always
Yeah,
say, I feel like I'm going to die young and I hope I don't die young, but like, I want to leave a
I hope
legacy
not.
behind. I think that's why I'm kind of rushing through this and I'm doing a lot of podcasts because I just have a feeling that, and like lately, Karen, I didn't tell you this, but like, I've been having problems with my liver, and it's an ongoing thing. Like, you know,
Oh,
it happened like 3 months after the break. Like, I broke up with my ex, like, and then like 3 months after, like, this pain started coming out of nowhere, and then like, you know, but I've been doing everything. I've been taking supplements that, like, I found a supplement that really helps it, and then my friend Priscilla's
yeah.
been doing like energy healings on me, and then that was seeming to work, and I was out of pain for 3 days. Then last night I was in pain at like 1 in the morning. It came back,
Oh
and I was like,
dear.
you know, that the mainstream. I went to mainstream medical. I didn't want to go through mainstream medical, but I mean, sometimes you have to. They did all kinds of
Yeah.
like scans and stuff. They just said I have fatty liver, you know, like which is like
Oh
you can
yeah.
that can be, you know, yeah. So
You actually want to take care of that. And you know who I would recommend that you check out. I know this is very radical and I'm not a doctor and I'm not giving medical advice, but I really recommend you look up Dr. Anthony Chafee and trying to think of the other doctor. Um, and basically you go off everything except meat for a while. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life. It's just so that you're not so that your liver gets a chance to heal. And
yeah,
it's apparently it's really helping a lot of people. So I would recommend Dr. Anthony Chafee. I'll send you a link to his channel. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, you know, and I'm super careful because like I'm going to be in 2 months, I'm going to be 69 years old. That's almost 70. I never thought I would live this
I'm
long.
the same age as my
So
mom. My mom's 71. So you guys are the
yeah,
same same
yeah,
era. That
yeah.
was a great era,
So
though. You guys came up in the disco era, right?
oh yeah, we sure did. Oh my God, it was very exciting. It was very exciting. It was a whole different, everything was very free up until the 1990s. And in the 1990s, everything became about political correctness and all the fun was gone. And before that, like if you went to a place to go dancing, there would be the servers would bring you the drinks. They'd all be on roller skates, and oh my God, there was so much fun, you know. And then in the 90s, that all started to disappear, and people just got serious and anxious, and uh, things have not gone on a very fun way since then. I don't know why, but anyway, I think we should bring the fun back, Robert. I think we need
I
more
agree.
fun.
I agree. Definitely. You know, yeah, honestly. And then, yeah, how about they tried to buy InfoWars? I don't know if anybody saw that. Like, I don't
Yeah,
watch
they did.
InfoWars a lot because, like, I'm not like, you know, like, I feel I love Alex Jones. I love what Alex Jones stands for. You know, I think he's great, you know, but like sometimes he goes off too. I'm like, I don't know. He's like,
I know,
sometimes,
I know. I'm way out there, and sometimes he's so far out there, he's too much for me. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Sometimes, but
yeah.
I like him too. Wouldn't it be funny if they made him the press secretary?
That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. That would I can imagine that. Like he's done a lot to help Trump get elected. I mean, Mr. T get elected. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been backing him this whole time, you know. And but I mean, like we need people like I mean, there should be free press and there should be freedom of speech, and we need people like Alex Jones around, no matter what he talks about. You know what I mean? I think it's important for him
Right
for
to say it.
you
The
know.
thing is that everybody has a right to freedom of speech and their expression and to say how things are for them. We don't have to like it. We don't have to agree with it, but they've got a right to say it just like we have a right to say it. And I think that's super, super important. We've lost free speech in Canada. Did you know that in Canada, they can decide by using an algorithm which people are likely to commit a hate crime in the future, and they don't really define what a hate crime is. They can put us in jail for the rest of our life for something we haven't even done. That's how bad it's getting in Canada. So we're really looking forward to a change in government up here too.
I mean,
So go ahead.
is it possible? Like, can they get him out of there?
Well, no, because he changed the laws. And so the laws are that we can't get rid of him. No, he's a
Yeah.
real, pardon me, but he's a dirty bastard and he's got to go. And
I mean,
my
it's
son,
crazy how long some of these leaders stay in power. Like, if you look at like Putin,
he's
like
been in,
I'm like kind of indifferent to Putin because, like, you know, I don't know. It seems
he's
like
been in,
Trump or Mr. T likes him or whatever. But I mean, but Putin's been in power since the George Bush days, since 2008. It's 2024. That means he's been in power for over 20 years. Putin,
it's a long
or at
time.
least maybe longer.
In Canada, it's Justin Trudeau, and he's been in for 9 years. And the earliest opportunity for another election is in a year. That will be 10 years. And he's
Wow.
ruined the economy. Anyway, I don't want to get off too much about all this.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell, oh, Woo Rider says, whoops, Woo, yes, yes, Castro's son Trudeau. Woo Riders DG says Caroline Leavitt is Trump's, oops, Mr. T's new press secretary. She's 27, youngest ever to hold the position. Well, I think we should give young people a chance. Having all these old fossils, are not, let's face it, you take someone who's like 35 years old and someone who's 75 years old, the 35-year-old has way better, is way sharper in their intellect. Like Vivek Ramaswamy, he's really sharp. I mean, they still stay sharp into their 50s, but let's get rid of some of these old fossils and get in some new blood. I agree 100%. But anyway, Rob, we're quickly running out of time. I want to turn it back over to you. Is there anything else you want to talk about or you want to share, or what are you up to? Where can people find you for those that are new to you? My
You just look for Typical Skeptic podcast everywhere. I can say I was on Rockfin, but I haven't been posting on there for a while. Where I mostly post is I post on YouTube every day, Rumble almost every day, if not every other day. And then I'm always posting on my audio feed, which is, you can find me on Spreaker, just type in Typical Skeptic podcast or Typical Skeptic podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I put out old episodes that I was doing back in 2020, 2021, 2022. So you get to hear like how I've come along in my awakening journey since then. And a lot of them are really good interviews because, like I said, I have 1,600 interviews that I've done. And a lot of those are repeats. I tend to have, like, if I find someone I really like, I'll have them on over and over again. Like, I think you've been
Yeah,
on
me
my show
too.
5 times, like,
Yeah,
so there's people that have been on like 10 times. I know Jim Gerard, he's been on like 28 times or something, which is insane. But I mean, so yeah, but
why
I mean,
not?
so yeah, that's where I'm at, and what I'm doing, if you guys want to follow tonight, I know tonight I'm doing 2 live shows at 7 o'clock Eastern. I'll have Stephen Bassett from Paradigm Research Group on, and Coley UFO. I met Coley through Derek Galloway, who's in the chat, and we became friends. And she's really connected to like the ufology community. Like she knows like Preston Dennett and Dolly and them as well. So I'm sure you'll meet her at some point. And then Stephen Bassett, he's been fighting for disclosure for years. So at 7 o'clock, we're going to talk about Eastern. 7 o'clock Eastern, we're going to talk about the the UAP hearing that just happened. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern, I have my friend Nathan Sizek coming on. He's like a military abduction whistleblower. He's a MyLab whistleblower. He's going to talk about like the future disclosure. So that's 7 o'clock Eastern and 9 o'clock Eastern tonight, only on my YouTube for now. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I want to thank all the people in the live chat. We had a really good turnout today. I appreciate every single one of you. I'm sorry if I didn't get to all of your comments, but I displayed quite a few and acknowledged quite a few. And again, thank you, Angel Wings, Jamie, for your channel, for subscribing to the channel membership. I really appreciate that. That's something new that I offer now. And Rob, I'm just so thrilled that we're friends. And I've been on your show just last week? You're on my show this week. We've been on each other's shows numerous times. I think we'll continue to do so. We always have such good discussions. And I just appreciate you very, very much and consider you to be one of my closest friends. And I'm just really grateful that you're part.
You're a really good friend too, Karen. I always love touching base with you. And I love the fact, I just wanted to say before we finish up, congratulations on getting your book out. I can't wait. I'll buy it. As soon as it comes out on Amazon, I'll buy it because like, I can't wait to hear about your experiences. And I'm just so happy that you really put that together. And like, you know, that's a big achievement.
It is. And thank you so much. So what I'll be doing probably is once it's published and out, I'll be hitting you up to see if I can come on your show and tell everybody about it. So that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you everybody for coming, and for those of you listening on the replay and on audio, I appreciate you all very, very much. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you next week on Aliens and Angels. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Goodbye. See you tonight.
Thank you for joining me for the Aliens and Angels podcast. Become the change that you wish to see in the world. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rumble, and X channels at Karen Holton TV. Click the like button, leave me a comment, and share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All of the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you will also find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.